Good Thursday, everyone. Welcome to GardenStateWeather.com and GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com, providing superior forecasting for the northern mid-Atlantic region 24 hours a day. I'm forecaster Robert Smith on this spectacular Thursday. For several people, it's a couple of birthdays, dear friends and family of mine. Happy birthday to you guys out there. And this is the daily video forecast discussion for this Thursday, the 10th of December, 2015. And on your way out the door this morning, we have a few clouds and some areas of interior fog across the region this morning. We'll get to the fog in a moment. These clouds will be burning off very quickly after sunrise works its way over the atmosphere. We've just got some high clouds across the western regions here. Trough access passing off the coast with a few showers south and east of Long Island. And if we put the satellite information on, we can do that, and then put the radar on here. I'll find out that the upper level trough is swinging through and off the mid-Atlantic coast this morning, and the showers are not showing up on the radar right now. There we go. Here's our few showers here passing well off the east coast, and here's our upper level trough swinging through with a few light showers. Most of these are not even reaching the ground. What is noted this morning is the fog across the interior valleys. This is the radar of, actually the satellite view of the low cloud decks across the region. And all of this in yellows and oranges here is fog, but the fog is beginning to lift now across interior portions of Jersey and the Connecticut River Valley. The fog is quite dense out here with the visibilities less than a couple of hundred feet to less than a mile in many areas, and there's a dense fog advisories for southeastern Pennsylvania and parts of Maryland until 10 a.m. this morning. Outside of that, we've got, with the clouds right now over the region, high clouds outside of the fog burning off. This morning we've got temperatures in the low to the mid 40s, mid and upper 40s across most of the rest of the forecast region. Yesterday was another mild day, and it's going to get a lot warmer over the next several days. Yesterday's temperatures generally in the low to mid 50s. The normal highs this time of the year about 46, 47 degrees, so we're definitely above normal across the entire forecast region. And this morning's low temperatures bottomed out into the low and mid 30s across the interior upper 20s in northwestern Pennsylvania, where there was a lot more clearing before the fog set in this morning. And, well, the temperature is going to rise back into the 50s for a good chunk of the region during this afternoon. And on the aviational weather deck today, we have some NVFR and IFR and limited IFR in the early morning fog this morning. And that upper level disturbance was moving through early this morning, has brought some NVFR ceilings mainly north and west. Some brief shower is also possible, but that's out of the region most now of the region, and there is a potential for IFR conditions expected, and of course we've got that going on around the I-95 corridor this morning. There's a potential for NVFR and IFR again by through mid-morning. Now, after mid-morning, VFR conditions expected for the balance of the day and into the evening hours. Then we could see some additional NVFR ceilings again tomorrow morning. Winds expected to be generally from the west-southwest at 5 knots or less through the forecast period. Friday, right now through Sunday night, generally VFR. There could be some low clouds and fog during the pre-dawn hours, otherwise VFR. Monday, widespread MVFR and IFR possible with showers, gusty winds, and low-level wind shear is possible ahead of a strong cold front moving through the region. Right now we are in VFR outside of Newark Airport at 49 degrees on the tarmac, dew point 45, humidity 86%. The wind is southwest at 5. A few clouds at 6,000, 9,500, and 12,000. And basically VFR conditions in place. Right now in Philadelphia, everything's looking good too. VFR 49, dew point 44, humidity 83%, wind southwest at 7, few clouds at 12,000 and 25,000 jet stream level. VFR conditions in place. Morning pass, the visible satellite this morning shows the low clouds across the Hudson River Valley area into Connecticut, parts of northwestern New Jersey, but under this, or over this, or on top of this actually, clouds are starting to erode, the low clouds, and lots of sunshine going to be filtering into the area today. It's going to be a beautiful day. Water vapor channel showing very little in the way of moisture until we get out into the Ohio River Valley area and the Great Lakes, where rain is falling this morning. And all of this rain associated with this disturbance, which is very weak, is passing through Albany and into northeastern New England this morning, and it is dying as it moves to the east. Big storm systems out on the west coast, of course, Washington and parts of Oregon yesterday receiving a couple of inches of rain and strong winds over the interior here across portions of Idaho and into Montana and also into Wyoming here. Temperature winds gusting to 50, 60, 70 miles per hour yesterday. We can definitely see the flood of moisture here into the Pacific, into western United States and portions of Canada this morning as a deep low pressure area. 986 millibars moving into portions of Vancouver and just to the west of that, providing a lot of tight pressure gradient here, strong winds, and moderate to heavy rainfall falling across the western United States. And with that being said, the forecasted charts from Thursday right through Saturday in the short term are upper level low here moving and strengthening into Canada and towards the Lake Huron here. Hudson's Bay, Canada, rather, as it makes its way out of the United States into Canada here. Here's our big storm system plowing into British Columbia and Vancouver. Also another internal storm system which already crashed on shore yesterday is now portions of Idaho, bringing high winds and rain to the coast and interior mountain snows here. As we move through the rest of today and tonight into tomorrow, high pressure is basically located along the eastern United States. There's a weak disturbance here out in the Atlantic which will not be affecting our region. And warmer temperatures are on the way as this high pressure ridge begins to build across the forecast region right into the weekend into early next week. It means that very warm conditions with temperatures rising into the 60s. We could be dealing with some records here. This cold front here is going to approach the region with numerous showers around the region by the time we get into a Monday. But until that time, unbelievably warm across the eastern United States and much cooler here across the west where big snows are occurring through the Rockies and also another system entering the fray here into the Pacific Northwest. That means more intermountain snows and rains right along the coast. Extended forecast progs as this numerous storms here in the Pacific Northwest enter into the fray into the plains. They'll be lifting up towards the Great Lakes with plenty of snow on the backside across the Colorado Rockies and the interior Northwest, rain along the coast. High pressure is in control with moderating temperatures across the eastern United States as high pressure begins to build in. It looks like a little wedge of high pressure wants to make a backdoor cold front nearly stationary across the region. As we get into Sunday, that will return as a warm front into Monday as this deep storm system across the Pacific Northwest now heads up towards the Great Lakes and into Atlantic Canada, or Canada actually, southeastern Canada, Quebec and Montreal area on Monday and Tuesday. Will be in the warm sector here with temperatures rising into the 60s over the weekend, and then a vast cold front will move through the region, and then a secondary cold front will move through the region as we approach the region on Wednesday. Again, another storm system moderating temperatures above normal across the eastern United States until that cold front comes through. Definitely that cold front will come through on Thursday, but the air behind it is still quite Pacific and naturally warm. The next 6 to 10 days from December 15th through the 19th, above normal temperatures across the eastern United States. Much colder temperatures out in the west with the trough access in place. Near to slightly above normal precipitation December 15th through the 19th. As we head into the 8 to 14 day period, December 17th through to the 23rd here, still above normal in the eastern United States, below normal in the southwestern United States, and near to slightly above normal in precipitation. Where is winter? Hold on. We have been talking about the stratospheric areas here, the polar vortex here near the poles at 10 millibars in the upper layers of the stratosphere. And as such, for this reason, there is just a flooding of Pacific air across the region. Now, this is up at the stratospheric level here. Down into the troposphere, where all of this cold air is located, we have a westerly flow, a nearly zonal flow in the Pacific, and we'll get to that in a moment. Stepping slightly downstairs in the stratosphere at 70 millibars, we can see that there's a little bit of stretching here to the circumpolar vortex to the west and southwest here over the island. So definitely we've got a warming event on the way in the Pacific and in the troposphere, in the mid-levels of the troposphere out in the Pacific, but it's not impeding the warming just yet. Or it's not impeding the circumpolar vortex to the point where it's beginning to split, but there does show signs of it becoming a little bit more eradicated here in the 70 millibar feature here as we head into the next couple of days and even weeks ahead. Back at the top of the troposphere now at the jet stream level, 250 millibars, we can see some cooling effects here along the poles and then down in west and east of the circumpolar vortex here. So we know that there is definitely warming and some kind of splitting action occurring here, but it's very weak and not noted very well at this point. Yet at the 250 millibar level, which is the jet stream level, here's our flood of Pacific air and coastal storms into the western United States, and a near zonal flow at the higher levels of the troposphere, or where our weather is starting here with our jet streams here, is a definite flow pattern that is zonal, and hence storm systems entering the west coast begin to warm as they head into the eastern United States. These are the current 10 millibar temperature anomalies in the stratosphere at 10 millibars here. We can find the warming is starting to occur with a major warming event in the stratosphere beginning over the Pacific and Asia, but it's fighting the colder air at the top of where the Arctic Circle circumpolar vortex is located, and it's having a hard time reaching the upper heights in the higher levels of the stratosphere here at 90 north and 65 north as well. But eventually all of this is showing signs of breaking through, and when it does, because there's been large drops of temperatures over our region here in the stratosphere over the last week or two, but it's fighting right now, but probably is going to begin to wax and wane and then eventually build into the northern reaches here and break the circumpolar vortex into pieces eventually as we head into January, February, and perhaps even March. That's where things are going to get quite interesting around here weather-wise. So don't give up on the weather, because the winter weather is still on the way. And at the 10 millibar level at 90 north and 65 north here, we still had a strong rise in late November and then a strong drop here in December. It's starting to stabilize at 10 millibars, which means the warming is probably already ongoing, and it's going to begin to show up in the analysis here in the data very shortly. At the middle to the lower portions of the stratosphere, it definitely has cooled significantly, or keeping the polar vortex very strong across the Arctic Circle. And this is showing up in the data, but it's starting to stabilize right now, and eventually some of the warming that's going to be moving into that region of the stratosphere at 90 north and 65 north is going to influence this pattern and begin to change this into a warming event, but it's just a question of when. And on the right side of your screen this morning, you can see the location of the high temperature records for both Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday across Atlantic City, Philadelphia, Trenton, and Mount Pocono. If we exceed these temperatures or meet them, we'll actually meet them or exceed them, and that means that record high temperatures could be possible. When we look at the forecast now for today, temperatures are definitely about 10 degrees or more above normal, 57, 59 respectively, and this is where the temperatures really begin to warm up. See temperatures rising between 59 and 62 on Friday. That is well above normal, and we're going to do it even further with 60 to 65 degrees on Saturday, temperatures approaching 65 to 66 degrees on Sunday, temperatures further warm on Monday between 62 and 64 degrees. Then the cold front comes through and everything begins to crash down back to still above normal, 55 degrees on average for Tuesday afternoon. By the time we get to Wednesday, so I guess there's still going to be a lot of people out there running around saying winter isn't coming, and eventually it will. It will. And you're still going to be running around in your shorts outside because it's just so warm. For everything live, it's GardenStateWeather.com, GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com, Twitter, Facebook, and Google+. I'm forecaster Robert Smith. Enjoy this fine day, and we'll be back bright and early on Friday morning.